Again, that's one of the biggest reasons I took over, because that was the only source of income for my grandparents before my papa died. So,
Nate?
Mr. Bells, a couple questions. Do your benches, are they on private property, or are they in the tree lawns slash sidewalk area?
We have some on private property. We also have some on city property, like the ones around the courthouse that sets back in the little crevice of the wall.
Well, I noticed, like, and I don't know where the location of all of them are, but I'm saying, for example, when I'm coming from Kentucky off the bridge, the benches I see where the Kentucky Fried Chicken used to be, they don't seem like they're on the sidewalk. They just look like they're on private property.
So,
however, the one that's on Dollar General is like leaning kind of like that.
So
it looks like it's in the middle of the tree lawn.
Yeah. So I will be completely honest. My grandpa was a good old boy. He was 83 whenever he passed. So a lot of the agreements that he had was probably a good old boy handshake and a verbal. In the process of me taking over, we have turned it into an LLC. We've gotten contracts written up from our lawyer for private business owners to allow us to have permission just to have paper trail of different sorts. But we are doing maintenance on a lot of our benches right now. So we are going to be really pushing that issue. But as your question, I can't honestly answer. I know the majority of them are on private property or on the city sidewalk, but as far as that was concerned, I would have to look a little bit more into it. I know it's a state law.
I guess that was my follow-up question was, I have noticed those benches, like, some benches seem to be of better quality than others.
Yeah, so the ones, yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so the ones that are clearly in better conditions are the ones that I have put out since I've taken over the business. So now, we have benches anywhere from Ashland to South Shore, Ironton, Willisburg, and all the way up to Chillicothe, Jackson. Yeah. So we're getting to that, but we don't. I think we have 13 total here in Ironton, which we've had a lot of calls wanting more, but I haven't pushed the issue because I didn't know for sure the ordinances and different stuff like that. Now, the ones that's not up to par as the maintenance, those are on the list to get done.
Okay, and then as far as this is my personal opinion, as far as being on personal property, you have contracts and so forth, you have to got your business, you come to an agreement with that business owner. But I do personally see a problem if it is in the tree lawn. Where do you draw the line? They have benches, it's okay, we're helping out a local business, and now we're going to add, what does that open up as far as other signs, advertisings, things like that are in the city right away, the appearances of that, possibly in the downtown area. So I do have some concerns on that.
Okay,
but
that's fair. I'm not here to fight. I'm literally here to.
I'm guessing your overall ask is to be able to place them in tree lawns? In certain ones we'll address them by individual basis, but like the ones around the courthouse, I've already talked to some people. They actually like them being there because it is a forum to where they can set people's advertising. But basically, I'm asking. Just maybe individual basis, allow the ones to continue setting there, if all possible, and then the ones that are concerns, more than happy to address them by whatever individual basis we need to.
I just have a couple things. I do appreciate you expediting with this conversation, and Mr. Harvey had contacted me last night and also sent out an email regarding this. And I never personally knew where they came from. Truthfully, I'm glad I know now. So,
well, they've been
I've
here,
always seen them around the courthouse and everything. So,
as far as my understanding, Wendy's one on the corner of the courthouse has been here over 20-some years.
Yeah.
Now, some of them's been here for less than a year, and then the majority of them's been here for anywhere from 15 to 20 years. So they've been here a long time. So again, I don't know exactly, but I'll I mean, if the city council, if you guys come up with a permit system or some, we're all ears. We'll do whatever we need to.
Like I said, I don't know, I don't necessarily know which ones are on private property. I could probably take a guess. But like Craig said, we'll just get an opinion and, you know, and see where we're at and what's, you know, what the problem is. And then, if you would, please leave some contact information for us.
Absolutely.
Nate?
And then could we invite Joe Ross up? I think he might have some information
Yes.
pertaining to this issue. Could we give a few more minutes?
I just took a couple pictures today. Don't mess around. I had called this gentleman here, and I was only following the city ordinance of 147403, Section F, which states that signs located within the public right-of-way, which is sidewalks, tree lawns, to that matter. And I did advise him that if he had questions or concerns or wanted to address the council to come tonight, so I invited him here to tell his concerns. But that's what section this is falling under. And those benches are, a lot of them are on the public sidewalk. So just fairly enforcing the ordinance on everybody, you know, to try to get it, just so everybody isn't having signs and stuff on the sidewalks in the right of ways. Okay.
I'll have an opinion tomorrow. I've already started working on it. The section he cites I've looked at, and that's true. They're prohibited in right of ways. There's a problem on private property too, but I'll address that tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. And yeah, please leave us some contact information, and once, you know, we get, either, you can leave it with, Joe or the mayor, or, I don't know if you want it publicly stated here.
I wasn't there on YouTube.
You might get some publicity for your business if you do stay there.
Free advertisement.
Yeah.
Again, just to leave, I do appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate Joe Ross giving me a heads up instead of, you know, coming up here and them being gone, so I do appreciate it. Depending on what you all do discuss or decide on, I will need a little bit of time, depending on what that is. So if you guys can give me a little bit of time to take care of whatever issue we have. But again, we just want to comply with y'all. We appreciate the business that we've been able to receive for as long as we have. But again, if there's any way possible, we would love to continue doing business here in Ironton.
Good deal.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have any business cards on you?
I do, but not with me. Not with me. I might be able to have.
It's got your number and email.
Yes. Okay. I may have some out in the truck. Maybe look, and if I do, I can bring it back up. But thank you.
Thank you, appreciate your input.
That's what I thought too.
Any other audience participation this evening? Seeing none, moving on to communications. There are none. Reports, there are none. Moving along to ordinances. Marta, would you please give ordinance 2320 first reading?
To amend the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Bob?
The Finance Committee tonight give this ordinance a favorable recommendation. And I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and give 2320 second and third reading by title only.
Jacob?
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Bob and a second by Jacob to suspend the rules for ordinance 2320. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2320. Would you please give that second and third reading by title only?
To amend the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency. Second reading. to amend the permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio, for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Bob?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2320.
Jacob?
Second that motion.
I have a motion by Bob and a second by Jacob to adopt ordinance 2320. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Ordinance 2320 has been adopted. Moving on to ordinance 2321, would you please give that first reading?
Authorizing and directing the mayor to execute on behalf of the city of Ironton a collective bargaining agreement between the city of Ironton and the International Association of Firefighters and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Bob?
The Finance Committee this evening give ordinance 2321 favorable recommendation. I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules, give it second, third reading.
Jacob?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Bob and a second by Jacob to suspend the rules for ordinance 2321. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein. Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2321. Would you please give that second and third reading by title only?
Authorizing and directing the mayor to execute on behalf of the city of Ironton a collective bargaining agreement between the city of Ironton and the International Association of Firefighters and declaring an emergency. Second reading. Authorizing and directing the mayor to execute on behalf of the city of Ironton a collective bargaining agreement between the city of Ironton and the International Association of Firefighters and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Bob?
I make a motion that we adopt 2321.
Second.
Chris or Mike? We've got a motion by Bob and pick one between Chris and Mike. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Ordinance 2321 has been adopted. Moving along to ordinance 2323. Would you please give that first reading?
Transferring monthly rates for the next 6 months between stormwater and wastewater funds and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Like to mention, this was given favorable recommendation by Public Utilities Committee.
Yes.
And I'd like to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2323 second and third reading by title only.
I'll say.
Chris. Having a motion by Jacob and a second by Chris to suspend the rules for ordinance 2323. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Rules have been suspended for ordinance 2323. Would you please give that second and third reading by title only?
Transferring monthly rates for the next 6 months between stormwater and wastewater funds and declaring an emergency. Second reading. Transferring monthly rates for the next 6 months between stormwater and wastewater funds and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Mike?
Make the motion, we adopt ordinance 2323.
Jacob?
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Bob, I get so used to a motion by Mike and a second by Jacob to adopt ordinance 2323. Roll call, please. Sorry, guys.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Ordinance 2323 has been adopted. Moving along to resolutions. Marta, would you please give a reading to resolution 2322?
An emergency resolution to accept the material terms of the settlement with Allergan, CVS, Teva, Walmart, and Walgreens and declaring an emergency.
Bob?
Make a motion that we accept.
Pass.
Pass, thank you. 2322.
I've got a little bit of discussion. Solicitor, this is this what's been ongoing for the last couple of years? You guys have been going, right, okay, I just wanted that on the record, that this has been kind of ongoing for better half of 2 or 3 years.
As the freshman on the team, can you expand on that?
It was a part of a national, kind of a national, I don't want to
Consortium.
What? Opioid settlement. So, a bunch of different communities that were greatly affected by the opioid crisis filed some type of litigation action against these companies. So.
And there's not a lot we can do for, the payment is based on a formula, and the one negative for Ironton is that we didn't feel like it captured our data truly because there's no hospital in Lawrence County. So we strongly objected but opted in rather than fight it by ourselves, because we would be 10, 12 years out, and once they filed bankruptcy, and so we decided to opt in, even though we didn't feel like the formula that was set up for payment for damages to us was fair to Ironton, but we did it for the best interest of Ironton, opted in.
Did the size of St. Mary's, the number of beds, did that include us?
It's not inpatient, so
So it doesn't count at all.
Okay.
yeah, unless they died there.
Okay.
And even in that circumstance, sometimes it is recorded in Cabell County because that's where they're registered.
Like I said, our solicitors have done a lot of work on this too over the past 2.5 years, it seems like. Appreciate that.
I think you're up for a second.
Okay. Motion by Bob and a second by Chris to pass Resolution 23-2022. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
All right.
Resolution 23-22 is passed. Moving on to miscellaneous. Mike?
I have a few things. Mr. Mayor, if we could get in April, schedule an audit with ABM to see that we're on track with that.
Oh, with the council?
Yes.
Okay.
Have them come in and
They need to come here.
yeah,
Okay.
right. Also, I want to schedule a PUC meeting on April 6th at 5 o'clock. Kevin Wood from our engineering firm, IBI, will be here to speak to estimated runoff units versus the system that we have now. Likewise, on May 11th, I'd like to call a PUC meeting at 5:15 with Nathan Davis. He'll be here to speak to stormwater. And one last question. At our last council meeting, we had Mr. Sam Whitaky here with concerns about updating our website, and just wondering if anything's been done on our city website since then.
Yeah, I spoke with Brad a while back when the first time it was brought up, and he was of the impression that, because at the time, I know Jacob was working on it.
Right.
Council, and he was saying, if he was gonna do council as well, that there was an additional cost, and because we get to meet twice a month, but there is a lot more work in putting those in to it. So I can have him come in and talk to you guys about what it would be, what that cost for him to take that on, update that council page and all the minutes every week and stuff. I think it kind of got caught in the, miscommunication between the three of us, because, Jacob was doing it, but you were also, now you're working full-time.
Yeah, I was in
too.
school.
I think if you could do that, Mr. Mayor, that'd be great. We'd
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Chris?
Update on the meeting with the folks at the Piketon CIC. Started with making sure that Brigham's schedule, since he wears about 5 different hats, could accommodate, and one of the dates that was chosen by Brigham and agreed to by John, and then also by the lady Jennifer Chandler in Piketon, was 14th next month. Sent information out to everybody. John is on board, Brigham's on board. I think you said you guys are on spring break, so it would either be the chair or the co-chair. of the CIC. And she's prepared to host the group for the day and find someplace to go have lunch and ask a bunch of questions and hope to get a bunch of answers.
Good deal. Any other miscellaneous? I've got two things. Second annual Memorial Day weekend pickleball tournament. I spoke with Brett, our rec director. We're kind of getting the ball rolling on that. That'll be held the 27th for sure. We're going to have to maybe go a 2-day tournament if it gets much bigger than it was last year. Also, grass cutting season is upon us. So remember, try not to get any grass clippings down in your storm drains, and definitely don't blow your grass clippings into the storm drains if anybody's out there watching this. So, what is it?
If your neighbor's yard's high, please put it into the Smart Gov app on the.
Yeah, also, yes, and if the grass does, neighbor's grasses, lawns, or anything gets too high, first page on the city website, go down to, report a problem. So that's all.
I'd like to piggyback on that too. As a guy that rides a motorcycle, a lot of people get lazy and blow their grass out into the street and just leave it. That's one of the most dangerous things that can happen to somebody on 2 wheels.
So get you a citation real quick. Anything else? Nate?
Sorry, John, can you clarify the designation you needed? Is it certified record,
Request trainee?
Certified public records training.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to designate John Elam as a certified public records trainee.
Mike?
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Nate, and a second by Mike to designate Mr. John Elam as the certified public records request trainee.
Certified public records.
Certified public records trainee. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
Aye.
Congratulations, Mr. Elam.
Gee, thank you.
We'll get you a hat.
Bob?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Pierce.
No.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I appreciate you getting that trained in. 1,500. I don't think that's one.